Well, what happens next, Ali Khan, is that there will have to be a new election called. The election that was due on mid-April has now been postponed. At some point, there will be a new one, probably within 2 or 3 months of the original date. So possibly in as early as June or even early July. In the meanwhile, there's been a slight reshuffling of the government officials in Algiers. There's a new foreign minister, there's a new interior minister that's become the prime minister. So there is some movement happening there. But the real question is, who will replace Bouteflika, the 82-year-old president, who's, as you mentioned in your lead-in, has barely been seen because of a stroke that he suffered 5 years ago, has pretty much kept his clan, his family in power. His brother was the person that was effectively running the government, as Bouteflika himself was in no real condition to be able to rule the country. He just returned yesterday, in fact, from a visit to a clinic in Switzerland where he was undergoing yet more medical treatment following his stroke. So the question is, what kind of transition will there be? What will happen to the old guard? And who are the new guard? But regardless of that, today I think will be seen by many in Algeria as an important date. 3/11 may go down as a turning point in Algerian political history, at least in modern times.
Yeah, I guess that is the big question. Who will replace Bouteflika? We've seen for the past several weeks Algeria's youth speaking out. They've made their voices heard. Does this mean that this is the end of the War of Independence generation now?
I think to a large extent it is. The next generation that has been active, there's been opposition, they've been somewhat repressed over the past decade or two. Even there was a pretty serious civil war in Algeria in the 1990s, and I think the people at the time were willing to put up with a fairly draconian government, almost a police state. But now that it seems to be past the Algerian people, and you have a population that is very young. Many of them have been out protesting. More than 50% of the population of Algeria is aged 30 or younger. So they're concerned with not so much the old school and the now fading memories of independence, the war against France that won their independence more than 50 years ago. It's a question of jobs, employment, the economy that in Algeria is currently not in great shape. There are very many unemployed, and the majority of those are people that are under 30. And I think these are the people that we saw leading the street demonstrations in Algeria and indeed in France, in cities like Paris, as we can see now, and also in Marseille over the past few weeks.